Hey, foodie friends, and welcome to Chef's Recipe Spotlight with Jessica Ann. Today we have a delectable daily dish, one that we all like and love, even as kiddos, and that is skillet hamburgers or fried hamburgers. This one's always funny to me because people are like, why in the world would you make a burger in a skillet? Well, let's take a step back because the majority of hamburgers we buy at restaurants and stuff are not made out on a grill. There's not a chef out back on a Weber flipping burgers. They are inside making them on either a griddle, which is a stainless steel, kind of like a Blackstone or something, cast iron, which is one of the ways that I highly recommend, or some, if you're like Burger King, flame broiled, but that's even more rare, right? So we can still make really good hamburgers at home on the stove top without firing up the grill. And that is great news for those of us who A, enjoy a hamburger, and B, for people like me that don't feel like going and heating up the grill. Cleaning the grill, grilling it, and especially if it's cold outside, that just adds a whole nother layer of I don't want to do it to my list. So, of course, what you need to start with is a really good burger patty. You can make your own. The best burger patties are just start with the best ground beef, right? You really want to have quality meat. I like a good ground chuck. It has 20% fat in it. That's going to give you flavor, but it's also going to help the ground beef pull together. You do want a higher fat percentage. If you use lean ground beef, it's not going to be juicy. It's going to fall apart. And in order to get a nice brown crust on it, which is really what you're going for, you need fats, right? I add some Worcestershire sauce to mine. I like the umami depth to the burger patty, salt, onion powder, garlic powder, and ground pepper. That is it. Anything else in it, and we're starting to get into like meatloaf sandwich territory. Okay. Also, don't overwork your meat. Yes, I realize it's meat. Yes, I realize it's ground, but really toss it, barely pull it all together, and then make it into patties. Put a little well in the middle of each of those patties. That means that when all the fibers from the beef start to cook up, it will cook into an even patty instead of it cooking with a mound in the center. And when it gets a mound in the center, what's your clearly like your automatic response to that is to take a spatula and press it down. But when you press it down, you are also pressing out all of the juices from the burger. And we do not want to do that. Okay, so now I get my cast iron out. You guys know I love me some good cast iron. Doesn't have to be expensive. My $12 Lodge 12-inch skillet is one of my heaviest kitchen utensils, but also one of my favorite. It's perfectly seasoned, so I don't have to use any extra oil in it, and it gives me a nice char. So the trick here is to get the Maillard reaction. And if you don't know what the Maillard reaction is, it is the act of browning meat. And ground beef in particular, people do it wrong all the time. It comes from French cooking, and it means to caramelize proteins and sugars. It is an actual chemical reaction that will taste the way that the meat is flavored on the opposite end. It'll give it that sweet flavor, but also really improve on the beefiness. So the trick here is to have it really screaming hot. The screaming hot pan will also prevent the beef from sticking to the pan. And that is crucial when you're making hamburgers. You don't want to leave half of it in the actual pan, right? Okay, so make your beef patties. I like to put mine into the fridge or the freezer just to let them kind of congeal a little bit. I put the seasonings on top of my beef and then I break it up into 6 portions, right? And then freeze or refrigerate. Cook the patties. You probably have to work in batches unless you are working on a griddle like a Blackstone. Cook them for only 3 to 4 minutes per side, flipping once. Do not press down with your spatula. You're taking juice and you're leaving it out. Use an internal digital thermometer to make sure you get it to the right temperature. Get it to about 5 to 10 degrees lower than your desired temperature, and then remove it from the skillet. Place it on a plate, cover it with foil, let it rest 10 to 15 minutes. No, it will not be cold. It will not lose all of its heat, but carryover cooking will make the degrees come up those 5 to 10 to the absolute perfect degree you want it with. Okay, serve it on your favorite bun with all of your favorite toppings. Make sure you come back to let us know how it was. I want to hear about it in the comments, experience, tips, and tricks, or at least come back to tell me about what your favorite burger toppings are. I love to hear this kind of stuff. Okay, from my kitchen to yours, keep it beefy, foodie friends.